The Captain's Log Radio with your host, Captain Jonathan Moss.
Hey, welcome to the Captain's Log Radio. I'm Captain Jonathan Moss, and this is our Tackle Box Tips segment presented by Icon Coolers. I got Captain Mark DiDario with me from Father and Son Sport Fishing out of Palm Beach. And Mark, what do you got, man? Tell me a tip. What do we got for this week?
Well, I mean, basically, we running charters, day in and day out. It's maintenance. The littlest things can be such big things later on. Um, you know, we get some rainy days here in Florida. A lot of some of you weekend warrior guys, it rains, you can't go fishing. That's the time to put into your rods, your reels. Check your guides for chips. That's the biggest thing I see with people is they move rods around. They don't do it properly. Check them for chips. Even go on Amazon and buy the cheap rod socks if you really are want to throw your stuff around. But maintenance is key, right? They're your tools of the trade. If you go to a mechanic and his ratchets aren't working and can't fix your car, you're kind of, you're broke, right? So same thing on if you can only fish on the weekends and your gear is not properly maintained and you hook that heartbreaker of a fish and it breaks because your gear is messed up, that's on you. And it's the same thing, with your boat, with the rest of your gear, pliers. How many pairs of pliers do people go through? A simple little squirt of WD-40, keep those pliers moving. Sharpening your knives, right? A lot of people hack fish up and they leave so much meat on the bone without sharpening. Jonathan, you and I, we've been backed by a knife company for forever, right? And the same thing is if you have a sharp knife, you're getting somewhere. Just to maintain gear. It start, batteries on your boat. You probably have a charger on your boat. Some guys don't. The simplest little things can ruin a really awesome day on the water.
How about
And it
hubs on
takes,
your trailer?
yeah, greasing everything, checking your winch strap on a trailer, also your lights, different things because you don't want your boat getting rear-ended going down the highway on a
Yeah.
trip, especially with your family. Or yeah, like you said, the hub coming off, your brakes. Check your oil. And a lot of guys with outboards kind of set it and forget it. But things do happen, just like a car. It's a mechanical thing. It can break. Greasing your hub, make sure on your propeller, make sure that you don't have a fishing line in that propeller that will cut into your prop shaft seal. Um, just I try to make checklists, and I'm sure you have plenty of checklists yourself. If it's rods and reels this weekend, maybe it's trailer next weekend. You always have something to do. And I
Yeah.
have a really funny friend who always tells me he judges his maintenance by how many beers he has to tell his wife it takes. So you can make it fun if you want. If you have a garage or you got to go down the marina and check the oil, it might take 2 beers. It might take a beer and a cigar. You don't know, but you need to be doing it. Um, you're lucky right now you still have a warranty, but when that warranty runs out, you're gonna be doing the same thing day in and
Yeah.
day out. Because if you turn the key right in front of your clients and it goes click click, it's a very bad feeling. It's a
Yeah.
very bad feeling.
Preventative maintenance. I think of a good friend of mine, mi hermano, Captain Joe Garcia, and he says, I would rather fix something at home when I'm not stressed with my
Yes.
tools on a day that I'm not fishing than on my way to the ramp on a day that I'm supposed to be going fishing, a day I'm supposed to have clients, a day I'm supposed to go have fun. And he's right. Preventative
Hmm.
maintenance. My dad, and you and I have a similar relationship with our dads. My dad said this all my entire life. He still says it. Take care of your tools, and your tools will take care of
Oh yeah.
you. And being up to date on all of your maintenance is huge. And doing so on those days where you're not on the water, so that when the days you're going on the water, you're not missing out. The other part of that I call them my five P's, and I'm sure other people have said the same thing before. I learned this from a guy on a plane. I was in college. I sat next to this older guy, and he was a business dude. I was like, "Give me a piece of advice. I'm in college. What can I learn from you?" And he said the five P's. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. And that, dude, you nailed it. That's
Hmm.
exactly what you're talking about. Prepping your boat before you go fishing, checking your hubs, checking your lights in your trailer, checking how much oil you have in your motor. Who does that? Who does it? Who checks their oil? My dad yells about that all the time when I go mow the lawn. He comes
That's
over and he
right.
says, "Did you check the oil before you mowed the lawn?" I was like, "Yes, sir," because I did. I'm 40 years old. He still tells me to check the
Yeah.
oil. So all of these things are huge. If you're going to make the investment in these boats, in this trailer, in this equipment, take care of it.
But even just because you might have a small boat, it's your boat, right? You
Yeah.
worked hard to get that boat.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe that 15 to 20 extra minutes of you running around checking things also prevents huge losses later on. Checking that oil, seeing it low. Okay, maybe you have a leak. Maybe you're burning oil, so you got to put more in. You don't want it to run out and that engine seized. Then you have real trouble, and included, is always have your memberships too, because things do happen that are completely out of the blue, right? We all have it. It doesn't matter if it's on your boat, your car, a fishing rod, your sea tow or towboat membership. Have that handy. Have it. It's worth the money. Um,
Cheap insurance. Was it 100, $150 a year?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little more for us commercial guys, but still, it's so worth it. Checking your batteries, knowing that, okay, it's 3 years. I'm kind of at the end of the life, especially like with your trolling motors. That really beats up those batteries because you're constantly draining them down. Just put schedules in your phone. Everybody has smartphones nowadays. I did this, and that checklist.
Mm.
I have checklists every day from when I get to the boat and then when I leave the boat. And I still manage to screw it up every once in a while and I kick myself. But just today, we get in the boat and my dad's like, "Wow, can you get the key?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And he's like, "Never mind, I already have it." Because I left it in the door because I ran home the other night and I never locked the boat. But if I would have looked
and,
at my checklist,
and he just happened to be there that day too.
always, never fails, never fails.
Never. Oh, bro. Oh, you're hitting the nail on the head on that one, dude. Oh,
But just, we have air conditioning systems, which is huge, and that's in part of our advertisements, right? That our boats have AC. You don't want to get on my boat, especially those boats when they don't have AC and it doesn't work. It's worse. It's like a
mm,
sauna. We
mm,
have, especially in the big boat, we have two giant engines right underneath the salon. It takes a matter of minutes for that to get hot.
mm,
And
mm.
my clients don't want to hear why the AC is not working.
Right. No, no, dude, I love it. That's such a great tip and something we need to be reminded of. Another thing I'll even add to that, and you said it, things happen. I
Hmm.
carry with me in my truck, I have tools and I have spare hubs.
Hmm.
And I even have a jump box, which has a light and a tire inflator built into it. If I'm on my way to the water and I blow a hub, I can shoot my client a text message, and usually I leave early enough where if something happens, I can take care of it. But in 10 minutes, I'm that hub is swapped and I'm on the road ready to go. Or if I blow a tire, I've got a spare tire already. I've got a jack. I can lift that trailer up, get that tire swapped out. I got a battery powered impact gun. I can swap that tire out and be back on the road in just a few minutes. Having those things with you, again, being prepared for anything, having those things with you can make all the difference, can save your trip. My camera guy, my main editor of the show, Jack, he was, and I'm not throwing him under the bus here, but he was heading out to go fishing the other day and he blew a hub on his trailer and he didn't have a spare and he didn't have any tools. And he had to wait for a tow truck. Hours later, the tow truck finally showed up and got it towed home, and then he had to go find someone that had all the parts. And I mean, now his day was ruined. And if he would have had those tools and the parts with him, he'd been on the road and going fishing 10 minutes later. So these are all things to think about as boat owners, doing preventative maintenance and then having the tools and the know-how to be able to swap things out. We're talking about this now. We're both going to have a breakdown tomorrow. It's just going to happen. But don't shake your head. You're like, oh, it's so true. Knocking on wood, right?
But what's cool is now too is like all the YouTube and whatever, you can figure out how to do a hub and stuff
Yeah.
really easy. But and to what you have to deal with too, not only do you have a trailer to worry about, but you have the truck to pull it with too. You have to maintain that.
Yep, absolutely. And you're right. Our washing machine was making a racket the other day, and it sounded like the drum was hitting the the frame, and so I Googled it, and it was the suspension rods. I've never heard of this before, so I go on YouTube, and I was like, oh, it's a 5-minute video. It's really quick to replace. I go online. I have the part number. I find it online, and I order it from Amazon, $20. I was like, the reviews are great. And within 5 minutes, that thing was fixed, and we were doing laundry. So YouTube is an incredible, incredible resource to learn stuff. So
Absolutely. And
Mark,
I'm sure
great
you
tip.
have friends too.
Yeah,
Gotta have
yeah,
friends. Gotta have a guy.
yeah. Oh, and as a guide, as a fishing guide, you said you used to be a mobile mechanic, having a mobile mechanic and somebody you can trust. Rich is mine, and Rich is also a guide, so he gets it. When I call him, I got a problem, he usually drops everything else and comes takes care of me, or I'll take my boat to his house, and we have fixed my boat in front of his house many a night, and back on the water the next day. So having those people in place, if you're thinking about guiding, that is a huge, huge blessing, having somebody who can help you out. Mark, great tip, man.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, love it. Hey, this is Captain Jonathan Moss. This is the Tackle Box Tips segment presented by Icon Coolers and Captain's Log Radio. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for listening to the Captain's Log Radio with your host, Captain Jonathan Moss.